Today, I want to talk to a certain person, and it's going to entail about domestic violence. There was this police officer in Arkansas. His name is Tommy Norman. He's a white police officer. And you said, Samantha, why are you saying something about race? And I'll get to that, you know. And I followed him. I remember when he'd been in the police department for 20-some years. And I followed him. I remember when his daughter passed away. And I was into making kits. I was into making things. I just started learning how to, use wood and make things. And I sent him some. I know he probably opened it up and said, Lord have mercy. What is this? But he spoke openly about that. And you can tell by the way he patrolled that he was not just a police officer. He was the community, and he gave the relationship between not just police officers in the community, but police officers and black people a safe haven. He knew everybody. It seemed like he did. You know what? He made me want to think about driving to North Little Rock. That's what he was doing. So I remember when he got married, and I remember the marriage and everything, and you didn't see too much stuff, but you saw them doing things. Then an allegation came out. And then his wife made a statement that they're trying to heal. And then a couple of days ago, he resigned. I'm going to tell you something. And I don't condone domestic violence. I don't condone it at all. Please don't think what I'm about to say is belittling anybody. But I'm going to say this. Some of you women and some of you men who don't have a passion, who don't have a career, y'all would jeopardize somebody else's. I saw his comment when he was talking about how he was resigned, and it you know what? You saw the life drain as he was speaking about his retirement, that he was forced to retire. Now, I'm gonna say something. Everything that happens is not domestic violence. Because I'm going to be honest, I hadn't had conversations and I hadn't had situations where somebody, push me or do this, get out of my face. They blocking me or I'm blocking them and stuff. And, there's a difference. And one thing about that domestic violence thing is that when you put that on somebody, it doesn't go away. I don't care how much I'm sorry, even after he's found not guilty or whatever that he does, he's still got to live with that domestic violence over there. And yeah, it is going to put a strain on their marriage. It is. Because she's a black woman. It's going to put a strain on her marriage. And I'm going to tell you something. And you ain't going to find folks that the black folks going to be hard on her. But right now, he probably still love her. And he probably still saying that, you know what? He trying to be logic in his mind. He is. He trying to come up with that safe space of, you know what, well, maybe this was for this or maybe it was for that. But we got to be honest with things. That marriage is probably over with because she took something that he loved and he cared about, and you did something and you took that away from him. That's gonna take a lot of counseling. I've seen women, and I'm not saying this all, but I've seen women who will provoke a man. I'm gonna keep it real now. I ain't gonna sit here and say, oh, everybody that get accused of domestic violence is they doing it. I haven't seen some women that sit here and provoke a man to the point that he wanna put his hands on, but he know he can't. I told my son, if a woman slap you, you better run like hell. Because they'll put a domestic charge on you. And that's a felony. Depending on how it is. Don't do it. I don't care. If she hit you first, you better run. You know, I had to really think about that. Because when I saw him do his announcement of his retirement, it kind of took it took something out of here. Because, I mean, I'm going to be honest, my man don't, the dude, he works he works a job, it's kind of important, but he works it. And I know how important our relationship, our communication and our relationship in the house could affect him. I know when there's times when, you know what, I need to stop because I may provoke him or vice versa. I know when that. Sometimes the argument, now everybody say, well, you know what, he a police officer, he should know better and stuff. No, yeah, but he human. Yeah. I mean, I ain't gonna lie. I used to be in relationships where, you know what, man better not walk off on me. I followed him. I want to hear what he had to say. Can they overcome this? Yeah. Is it gonna be hard or extremely? I hope the truth come out, but even if the truth came out, he's still gonna be that he gonna have that plague on him. He's still gonna have it on him. I tell anybody, if you having some problems in your marriage and stuff where it comes to where somebody want to put their hands on you or stuff like that, that's when you need to leave. When somebody put their hands on me, whatever, I have to back. No, I don't want to be around them no more. Because I feel like if it could escalate. At this age, I'm trying to prevent escalation. Yeah. If they get a divorce, it ain't going to be now. It'll probably be next year when they get a divorce. Because even though he love her, he going to start regretting. He's going through his motions right now. He trying to soften it. He going to try to do marriage counseling. But then, you know what? The fact that he ain't going to be able to put on something that made him happy. Something that gave him a purpose. Something that gave him a mission. He going to start to go through that process and he going to start doing the regretting. And it ain't nothing she can really say that's going to help that. I'm going to say this. I still think that when domestic violence is being done, please report it. I'm not saying that it's not. And I'm not taking up for him, but I do know for a fact that a lot of women, they provoke you. I'm a woman. I can say it. Women provoke men sometimes. And then when they do something, like they may push them or shake them or hold them, there you go. That's all they needed. That's all they needed is that moment. And he may have had that moment. And you know, we can sit here. I think some things have been taken to a point in this world where it ain't got too bad. That, you know, back in the day when my mama was alive, a man could beat on you and they considered that property. Well, now, you know, somebody put their hands on you if they seem to be an aggressor, or if they put their hands on you, regardless if it's self-defense, that charge is going to sit there. That charge is going, you know, they had to take him to jail. They had to. If they didn't, it would have seemed like it was bias. They would have said, oh, he's special. They letting him do that. Then it would have created maybe a racial situation or domestic violence. It would have, you don't know. So you got to look at it. Everybody was put in, when she made that phone call, everybody was put on notice. He could have been defending himself. Nah, well, okay, but the fact that he's a well-known person and he put his hands on, they didn't arrest him. Let's say they arrest her, then it would have been a racial thing. Then let's say, for instance, they didn't arrest neither one of them. Then they would have said that the police department was being biased toward one racial thing because she's black. Let's say, for instance, that somebody complained that his bond was too low, $350. Well, you know what? Okay, but like I said, everybody gonna find fault. And then somebody said, well, he put his hands on a black woman. It don't matter which one the woman was. The fact is that they say he did it. His wounds are going to be long and hard, long after this is over with, long after we stop talking about it, long after it dies down. His wounds going to be long and hard, because I'm siding with him, because that was his passion. That was his baby. What he did, he loved his job. He took his job to heart. He took his job to whatever reason that it was. He felt that comfort. And to have somebody to come in your life that you love too and take that away from you, that's a betrayal. Of, you know, like I said, he dealing with some feelings now. He dealing with it. You know, he don't want to lose two things at one time, his wife and his job at the same time. Do I think it can be saved? Like I said, anything can be saved, but it's an impossible, because you don't take something away from somebody. You know, let's go back. I'm gonna go back to I don't think I really talked about it. Shannon Sharpe. Shannon Sharpe loved the spotlight. Oh, he loved it. Loved it. Hey, Club Shay Shay, I used to listen. I watched Club Shay Shay. I said, God dog. Then I found out he dating younger girls. Well, that comes with the territory. Come with the territory. She made an accusation. Don't matter if it's true or not. She made it. He's in the spotlight. He probably listened to somebody and said, well, you know what, since you've been doing this and that, you know, or you know, right now the Me Too movement is still going strong. Just go and pay all. And he paid them. And then he paid. You know, men today, and I say this from a mother who has a son, men today are not protected. Not like women. There's so many men that have went to jail for a lie. So many men who've went to jail, been accused over a lie. Central Park Boys 5. So many people have gotten hurt over a lie. It does, and then when it is vindicated, They have lost so much along the way that they can't be replaced. My heart goes out to him because I know how it feels to have a passion. I have a passion, and it's something I love. But my health is affecting it where I can't do it anymore. And I have a hard time finding my way. I have a hard time dealing with that process. No, didn't nobody take it away. My health is taking it away. And I have a hard time dealing with it. Every morning, it's like he's going to need some counseling. He's going to need some love because somewhere along the line, he's out. It's like he's lost. And now he got to find his way, his new way. He got to find out where he belongs. Okay, this happened. What do I do now? Because he's so used to doing this. Now, all of a sudden, he can't do it anymore. And it's time for Little Rock, and I'm sure they are. They showing him so much love. But it's not gonna fill the void of him being in that position and feeling the love versus him being regular citizen and being loved. But somewhere along the line, he gonna have to realize that badge was just a badge. And the person he is the person he is. And he needs to be the person he is now. But women, y'all got to stop doing that. Y'all got to stop. You know what? Okay, I ain't, like I said, I don't want to get deep because I don't want to get flagged. But you know what? I'm going to say this. Some of y'all need to, y'all need to put your big girl panties on. Because once you call the police, it changes the scenario to any and everything. You said, Samantha, have you and the man there? Oh, of course we have. Well, sometimes I don't want to hear it. Hear my way, I don't want to hear it. He don't put we don't do this. I don't want to hear it. But by law, that could be considered it because I put my hands on him. Or you do this. That's domestic violence. But it depends on who you with. Me? Nah, look, don't touch my snout. This is my snout. Or if I move you and say, don't touch me. Okay, well. Some things don't involve law enforcement. Some things it does. And I'm going to be personally honest. My opinion, I feel that if she had just, if he did do that, just both of them calm down, it probably wouldn't have escalated. Or I'm not going to go one-sided. Or if he was just having an argument and he would have just, I wish he would have just got in his car. I wish he would have just got in his car and sat. Or went in a room and sat. Or just went somewhere and sat. But I'm glad that the police department gave him that option of retiring versus terminating him. I'm glad they did that. Now I'm gonna get some booty backlash off of this video. And now, you know what? I'm ready. Because like I said, it's some folks out here that provokes you to the point where it gets to that point. It gets to that point. It's folks out here, we think, and I'm going to say this on a good note, we think that the people that we are with, the people that we hang around, the people that we so-called love, you know what, when things start getting mad that they won't do this and stuff, you be surprised. We got to look over our shoulder now, because you know what? You think that because you in a relationship with somebody that they love you and they won't hurt you and they'll do this. It's folks out there pew-pewing and ooh-oofing folks every day, and they say they love them, marry them. It's folks that's in a relationship that, you know, it's like you cannot put nothing past anybody today. You cannot put nothing past anybody today. And I'm going to tell you this on this note. If they low down enough, if they hurt you at a point where it hurts you, it cuts you deep or whatever, I'd rather take the loss now than to continue to be with them and it goes downhill. Y'all have a happy Tuesday.